Hi everyone, I'm Daisy Rocha and this is what's happening in Brazil. We start by updating you on the latest news from the country. Operation Last Mile, launched in early July by the federal police, found out that during the administration of former President Bolsonaro, the then Minister of Environment, Joaquim Leite, asked the Brazilian intelligence to illegally spy on 3 employees. They were part of the Brazilian Institute of the Environment and Renewable Natural Resources. One of the employees was dismissed after denouncing illegal mining in the Aptarewa indigenous land in São Félix do Xingu, southern Pará state. This week, around 300 workers belonging to the Landless Rural Workers Movement, MST, occupied the headquarters of the National Institute for Colonization and Agrarian Reform in Goiânia. The initiative aims to draw the attention of the federal government and the civil society to urgent issues such as agrarian reform and access to resources to produce healthy food. In 2023, indigenous people in the country suffer more than 1,000 property violations and 200 murders, according to the report Violence Against Indigenous People in Brazil, released this week. The document says that only 8 indigenous lands were legalized in the first year of the new government, a number that falls short on expectations and even though is higher than in recent years. When it was launched in 2004, the athletic grant covered over 900 Brazilian athletes who received the benefit the following year. Now, 20 years later, the program increased tenfold with over 9,000 grantees who received amounts ranging from $73 to over $2,000 per month and a 10% readjustment announced by the federal government in early July. With no defined targets in the first few years, the program currently has a category called Podium Athletic Grant for competitors with high chances of achieving good results in the Olympic Games this year. The Brazilian insurance company Essor, owned by the French group Score, sold agricultural insurance for planting soybeans in the Monte Caseros indigenous land in Rio Grande do Sul. The practice is considered illegal as planting soy on indigenous land is a crime. An investigation by Brasil de Fato showed that the industry giant defied legislation and sustainability and even won a federal subsidy. Despite the conflicts, agrarian reform made great progress in the first semester of 2024 in the state of Pará. 5 areas were regularized. The most recent land was the territory of the Quintino land encampment in the town of the Santa Luísa do Pará. And that's our story of the week.
After 17 years of threats, violence, and even a murder case, around 150 families are celebrating the conquest of public land in the Quintino Lira encampment. The land had been grabbed by the pastor of the Four Square Church and former federal deputy Josué Beckson, who was removed from office for illicit enrichment and has a long list of accusations of land grabbing, violence, indiscriminate spraying of pesticides, and drug trafficking.
A gente estava trabalhando.
We were working and the farmer's gunmen arrived to attack us in the planted area. Some men who provided for their families were forced to pull out the stakes. Under the hot sun, they made them pull out 200 pepper plants. My husband and I were also threatened. 3 of them arrived, put guns on us, made me walk through the bush and showed them where there were shacks, where people were. We want the land for those providing for their families to have a place where to work. That's why we suffered all this aggression and endured it to this day.
On June 21st, Brazil's National Institute of Colonization and Agrarian Reform, also known as INCRA, published a resolution creating the settlement project. It grants the families an area of almost 5,000 hectares. They are already organizing to invest in planting, now with peace of mind.
From the moment you come to a land like this to fight, you want to produce to make a living from the land. So we've come, we've made our shack. We are getting by with our food. We are digging a well. We've already started our gardens. There's one here, there's more over there. When we see ourselves in a struggle like this and know that the documentation was issued, it is another achievement for us.
In 2012, the camp's school was closed at the request of landowner Josué Bengtson, but reopened after a court decision. During the pandemic, the families in the encampment suffered from a rain of pesticides. Through a public civil action, the families were granted approximately $10,000 in compensation. The money was used to furnish the school.
In 2023, he was ordered to pay compensation to us. He made a deal in court and paid compensation of approximately $10,000, which paid for the school furniture. From the desk to the school laptop, it resulted from the encampment's fight, which was won in court. This wasn't the mayor, a city councillor, or a candidate. It was the result of the community getting together, mobilizing and voluntarily building this school in the encampment.
Nowadays, 2 encampers are included in the Life Protection Service. Despite this, drones monitor the community on a daily basis, and cattle are seen losing the territory, threatening the encampers' livestock and crops. This is why the encamped families are asking for security. The process of occupying the area was marked by violence and impunity. In 2010, José Valmeristo, known as Caribé, was murdered. Marcos Bengtson, Josué Bengtson's son and farm manager, is accused of being the crime's mastermind. He was arrested, but released on a writ of habeas corpus granted by the Pará Court of Justice. Since then, he has been free pending trial.
I've been afraid, but I think what justice does is unfair. This murder didn't just happen here in the state. Caribé's death went unpunished and made the news internationally. I just wish that justice in our country took more care of us human beings. Justice is blind. Justice should have resolved this 17 years ago. And these people have been suffering here. There have been so many threats, so many police reports, and justice does nothing.
On today's Culture Talk, you will learn about initiative by social organizations whose aim is to qualify urban agriculture experiences in the metropolitan region of Recife, the capital of Pernambuco, generating income and healthy food for the women who live in these territories.
I never dreamed of going to college. I only went to primary school. I don't read or write. I just know how to write my name. It's really nice to get there and be treated equally.
Marilene's experience is a summary of the aim of the Maria's School Project, an initiative headed by the Sabiá Center in Pernambuco. The school focuses on strengthening urban agriculture initiatives in Recife's metropolitan region and creating a connection between ancestral knowledge from impoverished territories and university training. Knowledge is shared. At the meetings, students learn how to plant and use their production as a source of income, based on the experience and exchange of ideas about medicinal herbs, hog syrup production, and agroecological techniques for caring for the land.
We're here to exchange knowledge, to learn and teach what we can apply in our lives, and also to transform lives, because that's about empowerment. This is what we want, for everyone to have the confidence and pride of having their own vegetable garden, get empowered and achieve better things. Get empowered and achieve better things.
The Maria's School is a partnership between the Sabiá Center, the Homeless Workers Movement, and the Federal Rural University of Pernambuco. Since April, the project has been training 100 women who work in urban agriculture in 5 community gardens in cities in the metropolitan region of Recife.
The idea of the school was born from the learning process of advising in the gardens, but also for us to be able to go deeper into issues involving the practice of agriculture in the city, a practice based on the agroecology.
We are trying to qualify the work of our gardens, make these community gardens more productive, and ensure that the volunteers can guarantee food, sovereignty, and security.
In the Homeless Workers Movement Solidarity Kitchen Garden in Vila Santa Luzia, the schoolgirls consume what the group grows. However, the idea is that this garden will eventually supply the Solidarity Kitchen and generate income for the community.
Did you like the show? So hit the like button and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to receive notifications. We'll see you next week.